Hey, it's me, Shane from Organics. We build websites and we also generate leads for home service providers. Using SEO, local service ads, and whatnot. Anyways, in this video, we'll be having a look at Houston water damage restoration. It seems like it's a lead gen website. So basically, what a lead gen website is any kind of like site that was built for the sole purpose of just generating leads. So it's not necessarily tied to an actual company. At least that's what it looks like. And the reason why I say it's a lead gen site is mainly because of like how it's set up, what the pages look like. And after doing this for a while, I can basically recognize a lot of different lead gen websites. Now, there's certain lead gen sites, even the sites that we build that look really good, you wouldn't recognize that it's a lead gen website because I build it out, and the sites that we create look like actual websites. At least most of them do. So the site that I'm talking about, I'll just pull it up right now, just remove that, is this here. So Houston water damage restoration. So on first glance, it might actually look like it's a very professionally built website, and it does look pretty good. I'm not sure if it's built on WordPress or with HTML, but this is basically a site that I'll probably put in the category of lead gen, and the reason for that is because there are no real images. Even the image that you see here is probably a fake image, was probably AI generated. This looks too perfect. So because of that, it kind of gives itself away as a lead gen website. Now, for the average homeowner, they're probably not going to notice that initially, especially if they're not in the online world. And there are a lot of folks that they just come online to find what they need, and then they're offline. They really don't care about websites or SEO or any of those things, and so they probably wouldn't notice that these are AI images, right? These look too perfect. Even this one here looks too perfect. Typically, a real image is going to look a bit messy, unorganized, unstructured, and the angles are usually not that perfect. So just based on that, I can tell you already that this is a lead gen website. Now, as we dive in, we go a bit further, you'll be able to see why I also think that, however, right, the way they set up the website is actually not going to help them rank in the long term. It might actually hurt them, especially because it's a lead gen website. And this doesn't just count for home service providers, but it's actually the case for most local businesses. A lot has changed in the past year, or maybe year and a half, I should say, in terms of SEO and how Google looks at websites. So you really have to keep your website current and just keep up with the changes as they come along, because Google is like, I think there's a Google update like every week or every 2 weeks. It's just that most of the updates you rarely hear about, right? You hear about those major updates that have like huge ramifications, but the smaller updates you actually don't actually hear about them. Anyways, so before we dive in, like today, was gonna do this a bit earlier, but I'm actually launching a new drone website, and this one is probably going to be in Houston, maybe Dallas, or in another city that's big on drone. So just to show you, because this site is still on the staging environment, so it's not a live website yet, but this is one of the sites that we built out based on a template. Like I said, I've told this to clients, just because I use the word template doesn't mean that it's a crappy design. It just means that we're using an existing design out there, whether it's a live website or it's a theme, and we are designing a website around that based on that concept. And if it's like a very custom design for a client, it just means that it's a completely new design, and it's just a longer process. So we like to work with template websites. This is just to show you the quality. As you can see, there are different elements floating in as we scroll. It's very dynamic in terms of how it's set up, and I might actually use this for drones, maybe game console. There are probably other industries that I can use it for too, but this one is probably going to be launched for drones, and it might be launched in either Miami or Houston, one of the places where drones are more common. As you can see, every section of the website looks pretty professional, and you wouldn't recognize, or you wouldn't think that this is going to be a lead gen website, right? Because the images look very, very real, and we do have partners who will be partnering with, so we'll be able to get like actual portfolio pictures to go onto the website, or at least to show that we know what we're doing, and there's actually real real repair specialists or drone specialists that are going to repair their devices wherever we launch the site. So this is just a concept right now. Everything is kind of already, even with the content, as you can see, these are going to be pages that we'll be building out on the back end, especially when it comes to like the services, and then also the service area pages, which we'll build out in the future. So we're kind of going this direction because it's just easier for us. Don't need to manage clients and their expectations. As you'll know, like the most difficult part of local SEO is dealing with the clients, the communication and whatnot, and just keeping them motivated to actually allow us to do the work. So in my opinion, it's just better to just build the sites, rank them, and then just sell the leads. At that point, it's just really, I mean, if they're not up for it, then they're not up for it. It is what it is. But in any case, if they do not buy the leads, or if I don't find anyone, I would probably just sell it to like a lead vendor or whatnot, and just get revenue that way. But at least I don't need to hop on a call multiple times to explain to the client what we're doing and why it's beneficial. And there's always kind of like that friction there. And with some clients, it's super easy. Like I rarely hear from them. We do our work, and in certain cases, I will even like front load some of the work. Like if they've been with us for a while and we need to like build out location pages, like 10, 20 location pages, I'll try to do that as quickly as possible, because I know these are like reliable clients. They won't just drop us from one month to the other. And I've had cases like that where there's this one guy just changed his entire strategy after a month, and that was after I told him like you need at least 3 months for us to get everything set up, get everything going. And then at that point, it's really just comes down to creating more content, making sure that content has schema, internal links, external links and whatnot, just making sure that the content is good, and you add it to your page and you build backlinks to those pages. Very simple, ongoing maintenance work. And that's how we rank our own website, that's how we rank client website and whatnot. But until you're on the back end of this and you see leads coming through, actual real people filling out forms and just reaching out for help, leads that are valued anywhere from like $100-$200 to even like 10-15K. We're talking about roofing restoration, water damage restoration, whatnot. Until you actually experience that, you might not believe in SEO or believe that it works, but it works. And it works to the point where I've been considering, not just considering, but we have been slowly shifting away from a service SEO to more lead gen SEO, where we deliver leads. That's it. So you pay us maybe a one-time fee. We put in the work for the SEO, but then it's going to be on our own website, because the last time I worked on a client site almost for free, helped him go from like almost zero to earning a shit ton of cash with his website. He wasn't paying us anything. So right, when he didn't have enough cash or a lot of cash, he didn't pay, or it was difficult. And then also when he was producing, we were getting him a ton of leads, we were getting a lot of jobs, he was still complaining about how difficult it is, and how and I'm like, so those are kind of like the dynamics there. Anyways, for this video, let's dive into the audit of this Houston repair website. So Houston water damage. So as you notice, we have quite a bit of like clients in the Houston area. So that's ranging from home services, water, but also, like you just saw, drone repair and game console repair and whatnot. So once you figure out SEO, it just works. It works across industries. It just really depends on your targeting and whatnot. So yeah, let's dive into this. So on first glance, it looks like a professional website. The only problem is it's quite bloated and rather generic. And by generic, I mean, if you look at, for one, there are a lot of location pages, as we'll see in a bit, but then also the service pages are also quite thin. So that's kind of like the service page already. So there's not a lot of content on there. And I think, I'm not sure how they do the internal linking, but if I click, it kind of changes, but I don't see the entire website reloading. So I'm not sure if that affects the SEO or not. It's the first time I'm seeing that. But so yeah, thin content, ton of service area pages, which is not good. And the reason for that is just Google has changed the way they look at content or website themselves. Before that, it was just individual pages, so you were able to rank a lot of these location pages. I used to do that with client website, my own website, try to build out as many pages as possible. And there are plugins or there are tools that can like help you do that much quicker. And from my standpoint, if it brings results, we would definitely do it and just continue doing it, because at the end of the day, we want results as quickly as possible in a safe way, of course, for our own and for our clients. But nowadays, especially like after 2025 or about a year ago, I guess a year ago was like 2025, right? Google changed completely, especially with the coming of AI, to the point where they're not rewarding these programmatic local SEO page, right? Location pages. Now, there are people out there who tell you it still works and whatnot. If you already have a site and the pages are indexed, you haven't touched it for a while, it's fine. But as soon as Google catches wind of the multiple pages you have on your website that all look similar, and you just change like the location and whatnot, you will see that they will be crawled. And that's where you can check on your search console. All these pages will be crawled, but they will not be indexed. And you can try to reindex. I've tried tools like Omega Indexer, and there was another one, Index Me Now, where we've tried those tools, and some of them get indexed, but then eventually they still get de-indexed. So you're kind of like, you're kind of cleaning up each time. So just Google telling you, we don't want this anymore. So I kind of call it location jizz, right? So programmatic location jizz is basically just, a jizz of a bunch of pages. And in this case, we have over 100 location pages on this site. So the ones that you're seeing here, you can probably head to this site. It's Houston TX waterdamagerestoration.com. So that's already given very spammy. So you only see a couple of them in the menu here, but once you click through, or what we did is we pulled up all of their URLs, so their entire sitemap. And then once you have a look at the sitemap, you'll see that they have a ton of pages. So this is something that Google can check, and also Google AI can also check. Once they see location, they just, and it goes on and on and on and on, and locations, right? It just keeps going and going. About 90% of their pages are just location pages. And if it's just for the area, for the Houston area, it might be too many, because there might not be anyone searching for Klein, right? That's a Dutch or a German name, I guess. But right, if you want to mention all of these locations, I will give you advice and show you exactly what you need to do. But you do not need to build out all of those location pages. It's gonna bloat your website. Google is gonna get tired of crawling it, and then what happens is, because you have so many location pages, even if you create valuable service pages, which they do not have, or if you create blogs in the future, those blogs are not going to rank properly, because Google already categorizes your website as kind of like location jizz or just programmatic jizz. And I must say, this probably might work in e-com or maybe other industries that maybe other industries. I don't know, but there are guys out there still pushing this, still selling this as like courses and whatnot. And you can probably take a programmatic approach, right? A systematic approach to building out location pages, but at least make sure that the location pages are not too, it's not too many, and also that each page is more unique than before. Especially now that we have AI, it's much easier to get that done, and it will save you a lot of headache in the future, right? So like I said, Google sees these as like the same pages. It has the same content, or at least the same content template, the same URLs. As you can see, it all has like the same URL structure, and probably also very similar H1, H2, very similar meta title, meta description. And all you're doing is just swapping out the names. So Google sees this pattern, and AI, you don't need to mess about with AI too long, Gemini or ChatGPT, in order to figure out that, hey, these AI is pretty smart these days. So they'll be able to figure that out, and you'll be categorized as spam. Now, basically it bloats your website. You're wasting crawl budget, you're wasting Google's crawl budget, and they don't really like that. And because of that, it will affect your entire website, and you will see that your rankings just go from, maybe it was rising, it just takes a dive, right? It just takes a dive straight down and then it goes flat. And sometimes that might happen, like a staircase, so it might dive and then for a while it stays all right and then it dives again, just like the stock market. So you want to fix that. So what I would recommend doing is not building additional pages thinking, hey, if I build better pages or additional pages that are good, it will solve the issue. No, you need to trim, you need to cut away all of that fat, cut away all of those terrible programmatic SEO jizz pages, right? Cut that back and improve the content. So what I would do and what I've done with like certain client side is reduce the number of pages. If you have 80 pages, reduce it to like 8 to 10 pages, right? And then on those pages, you may want to add the different neighborhoods that you remove. So if you, rather than cutting the city into 80 or 100 different pieces, you just cut it into 15 pieces. And then on those location pages, so if we head here, and then if we find like a location page, let me see here. So let's say, well, Houston, that would be the top level, but let's just say Spring. So on that Spring page, you would want to mention just the neighborhoods in that area, and then also link out to the other main, let's say you have like 15 location pages, link out to the other 14 location pages, right? Or you could just mention the neighborhoods that are on those pages. I wouldn't go as crazy as creating like 30, 40, 50 pages just for like one city. Now, once you're done with that, right, cutting down the unnecessary pages, now you've made your life much easier. You've made Google life better, or I guess Google, I don't know if you can say that you're making your life better, but you're making it easier for them to understand your website and also to rank you, and also for your consumers. So now the next step, what you'd want to do is make sure that the pages are as high quality as possible. So we use tools like Surfer SEO. There is Phrase. There's also Neuron Writer. Right, so it just depends on what type of like pages we're creating, whether it's top level or service. So top level service pages, location pages, or supporting pages, what we call them, right? And then depending on that, we use either Surfer, Phrase, or Neuron Writer. Neuron Writer is pretty good for supporting pages. If it's a more top level money page, we prefer like Surfer SEO, but it's also a bit more expensive. If you want to write everything with Surfer SEO, just go ahead. It's all up to you. And then create those pages. So with like Surfer SEO, you'll be able to audit your competitors, the top 3 to 4 or 5 competitors, and then it will tell you exactly what to write on those pages. I usually go here and it tells you how many words, the headings, the paragraphs, the images and whatnot. And then also it gives you like an outline, right? So outline and guidelines and whatnot, just basically how to write your content. And I believe for Surfer SEO, I don't do it myself nowadays, but I have writers that actually write the content for me using Surfer SEO or whatever tool we ask them to use. And you can use AI. So I think that's built into Surfer SEO, but we tend to use AI together with humans, so not just rely on AI. But just improve the content on your location pages itself. So have a unique intro, have local proof specific to that area. So in that example, you have Spring or Katy in Houston. Just mention local proof to those areas. So jobs, neighborhood references, anything like that, and also maybe embed a map of that area. That also works really well. Another area that you could consider is adding testimonials for those areas. So if in Spring you've done multiple jobs in Spring, you can add case studies that are referenced in Spring naturally. You can add reviews that are referenced in Spring naturally. You can literally code it into your website. And of course you can use a review widget, but then you don't really control what kind of reviews show up on that page. And just by doing those things, you can actually make that page very customized and unique, regardless of the fact that it's a location page. So that's what I would do. And of course this goes without saying, but I'll say it either way. Whatever pages you remove, you redirect them to the most relevant page. Or if they were not getting any kind of like traffic, I would probably just kill it altogether. It wouldn't matter, but at least you want to redirect it 301 or whatnot to a more relevant page. Sometimes you can also just do the home page or just a general services page. So in a nutshell, what I would do is, like I said, reduce the number of pages, improve the quality of the content on each page by going a bit deeper, especially with the location pages and the service pages. All right, so in a nutshell, what I would do is actually reduce the number of pages, go a bit deeper with each page, whether it's a location page or a service page, and avoid the templates, right? You can use a programmatic structure, but make sure that each page has unique content specific to that area or specific to that service on your website. So yeah, this is a prime example of a site which I'm not doubting that it won't rank for anything. It probably will, but I know for like water damage restoration, because we do have like clients in that industry, I know that for that industry it's definitely going to be difficult if you are spread across multiple services, and then also your location page and everything on there is just very generic. The same, but I don't have time to dive into it in this video. But yeah, the same for like the internal linking, just based on like how everything is structured and the amount of like content that's on the website. I can always say there's not enough topical authority being built on this website, and so the internal linking is probably not going to be good. And if I pull up this, let me see here, so this is all reading green. I think I was on another page that I think it was the home page where it was reading a bit off. But yeah, if we look here and we click through, they're probably not going to have, it's a bit difficult to click through. So this is one of those things where it's kind of annoying, because like I like to click on an image or click anywhere here, and I can only click here, read articles. So they would want to adjust that. What I do like is the call to action that's scrolling along. I don't really like that it's passes over the text here. They're asking to call. But yeah, what I wanted to look at in terms of the blog is just, can I one-click call here? So there's no one-click call. There are also no other like internal links on this page. And if we have a closer look at this page, we can see these are the topics. So this is basically a diagram of the content that's on that page. You can see that the only pages that are linked out to are these pages here. So there are no like internal links in the content itself, which is problematic. So from that standpoint, I'm already thinking this site needs a lot of work. And yeah, this is something I mention a lot to clients, where it's not just writing content. I don't know if this content was written by AI or whatnot. It could have been, maybe not, but it actually needs to be human. It needs to have references. So a well-written article has references to other maybe local sources or government entities, and it also links back up to the service pages or the location pages. So in this article, I should have like a couple of links heading back upwards, and I'm just not seeing all of that. So that's also another, right? That's another reason why I really don't like. I don't really think this is like the best website in the world. It does look really nice though. The design looks like something from one of those AI website generators, but overall I must say, yeah, it's lacking. So if we just put this in a chart, just a second. Yeah, so if we're looking at this page here, the water damage page that we were just on, I just made a chart out of it. You can see water damage restoration, main topic, and then we have how we restore your property and the different services under that. Here, yeah. So yeah, overall you can see that it's not a very in-depth piece of content in our page, I should say, that especially for water damage, this might work if it's like drones or something less competitive, or maybe iPhone repair or anything like that. But for water damage restoration, you really need to come with your A game. Otherwise, you're going to spend a lot of cash on backlinks on an annual basis in order to keep that page ranking. Anyways, that's pretty much my my audit of this site, at least when it comes to because there are a lot of like issues. I'll probably create another video, may turn this into like a series or anything, or something like that. But at least for the location pages, I'll probably need to discuss the topical authority. But yeah, the geo silo is also off. It's too bulky. There are too many pages. other things that might actually be affecting the rankings are also just the blog articles. Now, in terms of like what I would do if I was running this campaign, the number one thing or the first thing, the site looks good, right? You just need to add a bit more real images or real reviews and stuff like that into it to make it look more local and not generic, or I guess generic, not too AI created, right? Make it a bit more real, maybe a bit better logo and whatnot. But besides that, the site looks like it functions pretty well. So the first thing I would do is just prune the content, right? Snip away 60 to 80% of the location pages. And this site has a lot of location pages, so I would probably cut back like 80% of the location pages. I would merge overlapping services to top level pages and then supporting pages. So the top level pages, and I guess this site, if I look at their services, they look like they're more into water damage restoration. Water damage restoration seems to be, or flood damage or storm damage restoration seems to be a bit more profitable than the other type of restoration services. So I would probably focus on that. So prioritize that as primary category. Secondary categories are going to be the additional services, and then under those categories would put all of the different services. So improve their website structure for, right? That would be the second main thing, and then start checking what kind of like internal links we can build for that site. So there are tools out there that can do it. You can do it manually. We tend to do it with tools and also manual, but you got like Link Boss, and I guess there are like one or two others that you can actually use. And that's besides cleaning up like any kind of like lingering on page stuff. I believe their website had some images that were not like optimized or anything like that. Anyways, don't want to dive into that too much right now. So like I said, the second phase, that would probably be in month 2. We would probably upgrade the location pages. So whatever pages we have, so that's like maybe 10 pages or 15 pages, I would just go ahead and just, improve the content, rewrite it so that it ranks, right? So it outranks whatever website or whatever pages that are ranking. Improve the on page, improve the schema for all of those pages. And this is a lot of work. So it's not just gonna happen in like month 1 or month 2. It's something that we'll need to like, build out. But we'll at least be building something that we know will be able to rank and will perform, right? Just as with our own sites, like this site that I'm building here, right? Everything I'm saying now is what goes into it. So you can already see that certain elements here are, even the images that are actually stock images look pretty refined and look pretty real, right? Even these repair images here. So you really got to like watch out for that. Now, you want the schema improved, the on page, phase 3 is going to be scaling. So typically once you start out with like, even if it's like client work, you want to like fix whatever is there, optimize whatever is there, and start slowly creating new pieces. But then once that's done, you can shift your attention a bit more towards building out more content, more topical clusters. And that's what this website here is missing. A lot of like topical clusters, supporting websites for the top level categories and services. And because of that, they're probably going to struggle with ranking consistently, unless they're, I guess, running ads to the website or to their Google My Business profile. So add real content, so real local content, and that could be a lot of stuff, right? So you have jobs, case studies. What else can I think of? Before and after. You got before and after, case studies, just maybe client stories. So you can use that in multiple industries, even like fishing industries, right? It's like a fishing report or client report or whatnot. Local reviews, so reviews that are local to that specific page, so that specific area. So if it's Spring or if it's Katy, Houston, you'd want it to be very local. We have a certain way, like a template, a structure that we use for all of these location pages. It works really well. It's a bit more work than the programmatic stuff that you just saw, but it gets the job done. So yeah, this is all I can think of right now, but there are other stuff they can do. I would probably improve, now that I'm thinking here, probably in phase 1, right? Fix the internal links. You'd want to improve the conversions elements. So what I mean by that is right now they have phone number, so they have phone, they have forms, but you can also think of web chat, right? Integrating web chat into everything, and maybe an online calculator. How do you write calculator? Hope that's it. All right, online calculator, maybe surveys. These, by the way, like the calculator, that's going to take time to code. The same for like surveys, so you might want to do that a bit later, maybe phase 4 as an ongoing thing, but at least have phone, form, web chat and whatnot on your site. And from phase 3 onwards, or actually phase 4, I was writing this but then I think didn't finish it, but phase 4 you want to scale even more. And that's where you'd want to maybe keep a bit of more attention onto your like citations, and these can be citations of different sorts. So industry citations you have, so those are like your niche citations. You have geo citations that are only available in one area. Maybe you have voice, so voice or AI citations. That way you get reference in voice and whatnot. Directories, right? And the data centers, right? That's how you write centers in the US. Anyways, citations, you can think of maybe guest posts. Guest posts I'd probably do a bit much later, because it costs a lot of cash, and a lot of businesses are not willing to like fork up the cash for that, at least local businesses. So citations, we would do press releases. So press releases, you can think of results, your reviews, maybe community. You write community events. What else can we write about? Your services, new locations, right? Don't have time to put this all under each other, but you kind of get the idea. So, and then once somewhere, maybe probably phase 2, I like to do that somewhere around like month 2 or whatnot, or just after we've onboarded like the clients and stuff, you set up like a review and reputation engine. So the goal of this is to get 5 stars, automatically follow up to get these 5-star reviews, shield you as much as possible from negative reviews, AI review responders. So AI automatically respond to your reviews. So those are things that are really going to like help you just automate a lot of your business. You can turn reviews into social posts. It's also something that we do. I have a guy on my team, Saeem, and that's literally what he does all day. He just like, manages a Google My Business profile, and he also posts to their Facebook profile, at which point the client can decide to just leave it as it is, right? Or they can use those same images or graphics or social content to post on other platforms. So it's really a partnership. So reviews into social posts. Not too sure what else is there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would put this here, but you can promote. That might actually be under link building, but let's see here. I'll probably put this more under link building. Oh. So image SEO. So it's kind of like a press release, but for your images. So that's where you get your content out there as much as possible. So these are the steps that I would take in order to like turn this website around. But like I said, it's probably a lead gen website. I'm not sure if it's doing really well or whatnot. The site does look really good, but beautiful websites don't always convert. As a matter of fact, we have very ugly websites that I've built for myself, and I've told my developer, don't change the design. It works, right? It's working. Do not change anything to it. Even though it doesn't look like the best of site, it looks like it was built like 10 or 15 years ago. It still works, and that's what it's about, right? It's about generating leads and whatnot. So Anyways, this is my audit, or just, I'm not sure if it's an audit, but I saw this site and I was like, yeah, there are some things that are still a bit off in terms of the site and everything. I just wanted to create a video about that. Anyways, if you'd like me to do an audit of your website, or if you have any kind of like questions, just drop it below in the comment section, and I will create a video about that. I usually get a notification, especially if you head over to my website, organicsagency.com. There is a form, which I believe is still a Google form, so free SEO audit. You click on that form and you just fill it out. Let me see if it works. Yeah, so free SEO audit, just fill out some information. I will get a ping and I'll create that audit for you. And like I said, we build websites, we take care of hosting, website maintenance and whatnot, entire team that does that. So if you need any kind of like help with your website or anything like that, just reach out and I'm happy to help you with your content or your links and whatnot. Anyways, see you later. Cheers.